This video tutorial we're going to remove the fuel tank from my Ninja 300. Well, as you can see, the fairing is already removed, so if you don't know how to do that, please go watch my first video on how to remove fairing first. It's not too difficult, probably take you about an hour. Anyway, let's get on with this. Alright guys, I'll just quickly show you guys what tools you need for this job. Again, you should be able to get away with just having your standard toolkit that came with your bike. Preferably by now you should have your own Allen key, socket and screwdriver set, just like I have here. Now the steps that we'll be taking in this tutorial will again be based on Ninja 300's official service manual. So the first thing we're going to take off is the seat of the motorcycle, or the rider's seat. Alright, let's have a look at the manual for the front seat removal. Now, the front seat is only held on by 2 bolts, one on each side of the motorbike. Once you have removed the bolts, you simply slide the front seat backward and lift it and it will come off easily. The reinstallation is very straightforward. Aim for the notch, slide it back down and then put the bolts back on. Again, I recommend grabbing one of the sandwich bags and jot down whichever part you're taking off and then put any bolt for that part in the sandwich bag. So, front seat. The seat is actually really easy to remove. Can you see this bolt over here? So there's one on this side and one on the other side. We just need to remove these 2 bolts and then slide the seat backward and we can get this seat off. So I'm just going to use the Allen key from the standard tool set given to you on the motorcycle. Note how there's another washer inside which got stuck. Just make sure you take this washer out along with the screw. They go together. Now repeat the same step on the other side. So that's the bolt we need to remove. Again, remember to take this washer out. Maybe use another Allen key to sort of help you sort of pull it out. There we go, it's out, it's off. And then throw everything in the sandwich bag. Alright, now the bolts are gone, we're just going to remove the seat. Now removing the seat is really easy. Just slide the seat backward and up, back and up. Alright, now we'll need to remove the negative terminal on the battery. Right, now we're just going to disconnect the battery's negative terminal. We just have to take off one screw that's on the relay box, move the relay box aside, and then take off the screw that's on the negative terminal. So, take away this bolt here. Alright, that's off. Make sure the ignition switch is off. We need to remove this negative terminal. Now, I'm not going to remove the battery or anything. I'm just going to unhook the negative terminal. If you do decide to remove the battery, remember you always have to remove the negative terminal off first anyway. So let's do this. Alright, so we're now finally going to start working on the fuel tank itself. Now before we actually proceed, I just want to give you guys a fair warning. You know, just common sense stuff. Fuels are highly flammable, so you got to treat it with care. Any spillage that you cause, just make sure you wipe it off straight away. Make sure the ignition switch is turned off. Make sure the negative battery terminal is already disconnected. Basically, just, you know, don't be an idiot. Look after yourself. Now, the first thing we want to do is, if you have fuel in your tank, we want to remove it. We want to remove as much fuel as you can. So just go out and find any commercially available fuel pumps and try to get as much fuel out as possible. Just make sure the fuel pump that you get actually fits the opening on your fuel tank. Alright, now we're up to the fuel tank removal. So before we actually remove the fuel tank, we need to make sure it's empty. Right now I think I've got like a little less than half a tank. If you can, try to ride your bike, you know, beforehand, get it down to low. To siphon out the fuel from fuel tank, have a jerry can here. Now I did first purchase one of these fuel siphons for a car, which is one of this. Didn't work out very well at all. I mean, this thing is way too thick to fit inside the tank, to fit in the opening of the tank. So what I recommend is go outside, go back out onto whatever auto store you can find, and grab one of those. So it's a thinner tube and with a pump on it, and it should fit fine. So as you can see from the setup here, I have one end in the tank, have the other end in the jerry can. Alright guys, now the tanks are almost empty. So what we're going to do is remove the fixing for the tank so we can remove it. Alright, now we're going to remove the fixing for the tank. So the tank is held in place by 2 bolts that's located towards the end of the tank. Remove those and make sure to remove the shoulders or washers with them as well. Once you remove the bolts from the tank, go to the left hand side of your tank and remove the fuel drain hose. Now if you have a model that's equipped with evaporator's emission control system, you will need to disconnect both the fuel tank drain hose and the breather hose. Alright, so the first thing we need to remove are these tank bolts. These are 10mm bolts. Now just make sure that once you've taken out the bolt, right, just make sure once you take out the bolt, you take out these washers they were sitting here before. They are pretty tight, so you gotta sort of wiggle them out with an Allen key. Okay, we will now need to remove the fuel tank drain hose, which is this one here. There you go. So remove the fuel tank drain hose. I'm still gonna keep it clipped in here so we don't lose it. Okay, so now what we need to do is to lift up the fuel tank. Now what I generally recommend people doing is, if you're working by yourself, lift up the back of the fuel tank and pop something underneath them so that you can work on the cables underneath the tank without having to hold up the tank with another hand. Now once the tank is lifted up, you will need to disconnect a fuel line cable and electronic cable. Now the detail on how to remove the fuel line cable is displayed here. Now don't stress too much about it, I will give you a demonstration on how to remove it. Alright, so now as you can see, I've popped up the tank and that exposes 2 cables underneath here. So this is the fuel line, and then this is just the electronic cable that controls the fuel injection pump. So as you can see, I've removed this. So in order to take this out, you need to pull on this little latching side, right? You pull and it'll come out quite easily. Once we've done that, we need to disconnect this one. In order to take this fuel hose out, initially this was in sort of this position here, right? You grab one of these flathead screwdriver, put it in there, and you just turn it, wiggle it, and it comes off nice and easily. Maybe use one of the bigger flatheads and just turn it and it comes off. Alright, now we have to pull this off. So after removing the fuel line and the electric cable for fuel injection, you literally just lift the tank off the frame of the bike. Yeah, it does take a bit of wiggling around, on this side, and it can be semi-heavy-ish. But once you've done that, just put a tank on some rag and just let it sit there. Alright, now say you want to put the fuel tank back onto the bike. It is straightforward enough. Just reverse the steps you've taken before and you should be fine. The important thing is align the front of the tank with the damper as shown in the picture on the manual here. Once the tank is back on the damper, you can slowly lower its back end. Now, I still recommend putting something underneath the back end of the tank just so that you can reconnect the fuel line and the electronic cable. Once you've done that, just lower the tank and also remember to reconnect the fuel overflow pipe on the left hand side of the tank. Now once all of these are done, just retighten the bolts. Now the Kawasaki manual didn't specify a certain torque for the bolts, so yeah, and just tighten them by hand. Again, thanks a lot guys for watching this video. I hope this is helpful for you guys who's working on your bikes. Now if you found this helpful, I really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. Again, this is just another reminder that this is the start of my motovlog channel, so stay tuned for more content in the future. Thank you.